Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It is your girl LK. I don't know if I said my name in the last video, but my name is LK. And I'm here today with my overly ambitious January TBR because it wouldn't be a TBR of mine if it wasn't overly ambitious. And as per usual, wow, I can speak. As per usual, you can probably hear my Great Dane whining because she is still not allowed downstairs while I'm filming. She knocks all my lights down. It's an absolute mess. She is not dying. She is not hurt. She's absolutely fine. She's just very dramatic. So yeah, if you hear her, I'm sorry. She will quiet down at some point in the video and take a nap because she is actually tired. She's just dramatic. But yes, if you would like to see my overly ambitious January TBR, keep on watching. Before we get into my TBR, just another disclaimer. Obviously, I am wearing the same sweater that I was wearing in my last video, which was my 2019 wrap-up. That is because I am pre-filming. I'm not just lounging around in the same sweater for days on end. I promise this is just a pre-film video because I go back to school, blah, 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 blah. Here we are. Let's talk about my January TBR. Ooh, a rhyme. Okay, so if you watched my other video, then you know for 2020 I am trying to get out of my comfort zone and expand my horizons beyond YA contemporary. So I am breaching the world of YA fantasy. And the first book that is on my TBR, is it a fantasy? I guess it's a fantasy. Is Daughter of the Slow down. It's Daughter of the Pirate King by Trisha Levan-Seller. Yes, I will actually be able to speak throughout this video, I promise. I've had this book on my shelf. I got this book years ago, so I've had it for a while. I'm sorry. I've had it for a while. Like I said, I stick with contemporary. I'm trying to move into fantasy, and I figured that this would be a good start because I really, really like pirates. And all I remember from hearing about this book is it's a girl who invades a pirate ship to find a map, or I don't know if it's pirate, I think it's a pirate ship. I assume it's a pirate ship. She invades a ship to find a map and she gets caught, and I think she falls in love with someone she's not supposed to fall in love with. Anyways, the backdrop for it sounds amazing because like I said, I love pirates, so I'm excited for this one and I'm hoping to definitely get to it for January. I believe there's a sequel for it as well. It's either a duology or like a trilogy, I'm not sure. But I'm hoping to get to this one, and if I like it, then maybe I'll pick up the sequel for it as well, because I'm also trying to work on sequels for 2020. The next book on my list is actually a sequel, thank you very much, and that is Down Among the Sticks and Bones by Shauna McGuire. I read Every Hunter Doorway last year. It was interesting. It definitely wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I heard the synopsis from another booktuber, Haley in Bookland, who I absolutely love. She actually recommended it and it was good. It's just not what I was expecting at all. And I didn't know if I was going to continue with the series, but as I was going through my bookshelf, I found the sequel for it and I was like, well, it's a pretty short book, so I may as well just kind of check it off my list. And it's about what happens to kids, or the story of kids who come back from these like fantastical places. So kind of like if you came back from Narnia, what your life is after that. And they all live, they don't all live, but it's following, the first one at least, followed the stories of these kids that live, and it's almost like a boarding school for kids that have come back from these mystical, magical places, but nobody believes them, so their parents have kind of deemed them as like something's mentally wrong with them, so they ship them off to this school, and you're kind of following their lives through there. And it's a lot darker than what I'm making it sound, but I can't talk too much about it without spoiling a lot of it. And I honestly really liked going into it not knowing anything about it, because every time something happened I was like, genuinely didn't see that coming. So I'm not overly excited for the sequel, I'll be honest, but I am kind of excited because it follows two specific characters from the first book that I actually really liked a lot, so I'm interested enough to read the sequel for it. Yeah, the third book that I have has been on my TBR for way too long, and I don't know why, because I should have read it by now, and it's An Enchantment of Ravens by Margaret Rogerson, and it's about this girl who has magical powers, and it comes through in the form of her painting, or it comes through in her paintbrush, I guess would be the best way to explain it. Anyways, she is commissioned by a royal patron to paint a portrait of the the royal, and she makes the mistake of painting sorrow in his eyes, which is a weakness, and he is infuriated by it and wants to take her back to his kingdom to await trial for the crime that she's committed. But on their way back, they are attacked left, right, and center, so they have to kind of work together to figure out what's going on and to not die, essentially. It's actually a really, really short fantasy. I think it's like, I don't even think it breaches 300 pages, so I don't know why I haven't picked it up yet. And the concept of it actually sounds really, really cool. So, and can we just take this in? Okay, take that in right there. That's beautiful. That's absolutely stunning. So I'm really hoping to get to this one this month as well. The next book that I have on my TBR is Radio Silence by Alice Osman. Again, it was a recommendation from Haley in Bookland, and I have the audiobook for it, and I don't want to say I started the audiobook because I literally listened to like 30 seconds of it, but I'm thinking I'm probably going to try and physically read it because I didn't really like the narrator for the audiobook, or I might give it another try. I believe it's written in podcast format, so it would be cool to be able to listen to it on audiobook. I don't know, I'll play around with it and see. From what I get of it, it's kind of like what you do after high school, or like what happens when the path that you're she's making me lose my train of thought. What happens when the path that you're supposed to follow isn't necessarily the one that you want to follow? Like it's pretty standard that after high school you go to college or university, then you get a job. What happens if that's not for you? You kind of get that perspective in this book, and I'm curious enough to read it because that is a pretty standard expectation from high school students, is to go to college, go to university, then get a job. So I am curious to see how this book kind of takes on the idea that you don't have to do that. So, because obviously you don't have to do that. But yeah, I'm excited for that one. Sorry, I got a phone call while I was filming and it stopped recording. But anyways, one of the books that it's probably the book that I'm most excited to read this month is Just Mercy. It's written by Bryan Stevenson, and it's actually going to be adapted into film. It comes out January 10th, and I'm very, very excited for this. I'm hoping to be able to finish it before the movie comes out. It's about a black man who is falsely convicted for murder, and she always makes me lose my train of thought, and he's represented by a black lawyer during a time where black people really didn't have their voices heard. So, and it's pretty much you're just following that trial and the case itself, and you're kind of putting all the pieces together. And the really hard-hitting thing for me about this is I believe he wasn't anywhere near the victim. He was actually, I think it was a church barbecue that he was at. So, anyways, I'm very excited to read this book, and I'm even more excited to see the movie. Michael B. Jordan plays the lawyer in the movie, and I know it's going to be absolutely phenomenal. So I'm super, super excited for this one. And the last book on this insanely overly ambitious TBR would be The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. She is the author of The Night Circus. I literally know nothing about this book. I got it as a Christmas present from my boyfriend. Like I said, it's written by the author of The Night Circus, and the back of it describes it as a Romeo and Juliet with magical realism, and that is enough for me because that's one of my all-time favorite Shakespeare plays. Yes, I'm a cliche, I don't care. So I am super excited for this book. I think it's probably going to be the first book that I read to kind of just kickstart my adventure into fantasy, and yeah, that's what we're going to do here. So that is my insanely overly ambitious January TBR. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell notification button so you know every time that I upload. Let me know in the comments down below if you'd like reading updates for these books or reading vlogs for any of these books, and I will be sure to do that for you. But yeah, I will see you in the next one. Bye!